I hope everyone's doing well. Thought I'd make a video and just thinking about things. Brought my family to our little summer annual thing up in Mustang Island. And my 2 kids, and getting prepared for the next trip to Colombia, to the Amazon jungle, where they're going to be doing 4 ceremonies, as I did last year. Of course, this year, just so much that I've been able to integrate that I'll be able to see what's next, right? But I'm just going to make this video right now, looking at the beach. Just sometimes when you experience so much of what the true meaning of life, because there really isn't a meaning, the mechanism of creation itself has made life meaningless. And what I mean by that is we're here to give it meaning. We're here to call it good or bad, to learn the game, to understand that it's neither. It's what we perceive in what we claim it to be, meaning throughout this journey, as some people have experienced, some people will not. Each has its own individual part in this jigsaw puzzle of a masterpiece. We start to learn how to be more of our authentic selves. And what I mean by that is you start learning not to judge things. You see that every positive thing has its negative, and every negative has its positive. Therefore, when you start to see everything, every experience, every situation that you go through in life as being neutral, or call it unconditional love, whatever terminology that resonates with you, you allow yourself to be your more authentic self. Because you could see something and automatically have a biased judgment, whether it be a color, a person, a place, a thing, an experience, a gender, a race, a TV show, a presidential candidate, whatever, and not even realizing you have all those same traits, because we all come from that same cosmic source, whatever you want to call it, right? It's creation itself. It's existence itself. You can call it God, you can call it Allah, you can call it whatever you want. And as you start to train the mind to do that, which we know it's possible because what's called neuroplasticity, you start to see the synchronicities and serendipities and things to make you want to do it again, because you know whatever it was that you were doing made this happen. And you want to experience it again. And the more you experience it, the more you're building that neural network within your brain that can never be taken away, because nothing can speak louder than the experience that you have. And it's not to say you got to do anything. You don't have to do psilocybin or ayahuasca or anything. Those are all just permission slips for you to be what you already are. Some people can just meditate. Some people can sit in a cave. Some people can come to the beach. I mean, for me personally, it was psilocybin and a lot of ayahuasca. But you know what? The sacrifice is well worth the reward. And as you begin to just understand and just the grandeur of creation itself and all that it has to offer, and what you have done for yourself, because everything's happening for you and not to you, by you, for your own benefit. And it's a very challenging thing to understand, because on so many levels. And for those that have ears to listen, great. For those that can't comprehend it, it's just not your time yet, but it will be. Give it a little bit. We are in a time of information, and a lot of people, try to keep things from their children, try to prevent them from doing things, and you can't do that. It's called resistance. Because no matter what you do, if you try to keep them from something, it's giving resistance. It's going to come back in another way, shape, or form. So what we should be doing is teaching them how to use discernment, because they're going to find out everything, right? Anyhow, this trip was very peaceful. It was a lot of, again, just overcoming myself in a lot of different ways that were unexpected, because you see the diversity in people and things, realizing that everyone's either a lesson or a teacher, right? Like, just, and when you start to understand everything's coming from within, and you catch yourself giving that judgment, you catch yourself, that biased thought of whatever you want to call it, then you realize there's nothing outside of you causing it. It's all within. It's all coming from you. And you may be upset about it at first, but then you feel so liberated because you realize it's all you. And when you realize it's all you and it's all coming from you, that is power. That is peace. There's nothing outside of you that can control you. There's undesirable challenges you may face. It's not saying that life is going to be easy, because nothing is stagnant, right? Everything's vibration. This is what quantum mechanics proves. And so that being said, nothing is ever still. You will never reach a point in your life where everything is perfect, because it's already perfect. When you can understand that you are the fabric of life itself, creation, existence, far beyond what you want to call God, it's just unfathomable, because you are the fabric of it. And it's just, when you can start to see the spirit in everything without that judgment, you honor it. You honor yourself. But there's always going to be resistance. That's why it's called the path of least resistance. Because you're always growing. You're always evolving. Nothing is stagnant ever. Anyhow, today was just a day that caught me by surprise, because there were so many things that I was overcoming about myself that I didn't even know that was there. It never stops. And you just keep coming to the realization, like, oh my gosh, wow, oh wow, what? I don't know if I'm having these ayahuasca flashbacks or what, but at the same time, my trip's coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I know it's already starting to prepare me for what's coming. And it's a trip because there's been experiences where I've been able to understand that time is an illusion. It really is. Quantum mechanics shows that as well. Einstein always talked about it. When that starts to become a belief to understand, you have these situations start to occur where something will happen today that your future self has already done. And I know it's kind of weird, but haven't you ever noticed that when you're dreaming, you have no sense of time? Zero sense of time. Because time doesn't exist. That's only for the finite mind. This is why the finite mind always has to wonder how the universe was created. When is it going to finish? It doesn't. It's eternal. Eternal means the absence of time. And only the finite mind itself can think of it as time, as the beginning and the end. So if there's no time in eternity, how can you ask when the beginning and the end is? Because that's a finite mind, human construct, which does have its benefits. But when you can understand this, that means everything is really happening at the present moment, right now. Therefore, what you place your attention on, you place your energy. Where you place your energy, you give life to. It's an unbelievable thing. When people try to have these memories of their past, and they've done internal shadow work. And they think of these memories, they don't even realize that's not even them. When you change your present self, you've changed automatically that past. I mean, it's so profound and just so mind-blowing. So anyhow, I could go on forever because there's just so much I want to say, but, that's not the time yet. So I figured I would make this video while I was out here, just in awe of creation itself. Because we are all fragments of that existence that are participating to the whole of creation's evolution. Creation's finished, but yet it's forever evolving into a more perfect existence in harmony, just the way the grass grows, the trees, the bushes. Even when we call it disharmony, it's all part of the game. First, you choose to blame the outside world for everything that happens to you. Then you start to understand the gnosis. You start to blame yourself for everything. Then you start reaching the point where you start to understand there was no one ever to blame because it was all part of the process. And once that happens, that's when the magic really starts to really blow your mind. And it's like waking up from a dream, and another dream, and another dream, and another dream. It doesn't stop. And I will leave it off with this. What I know through experience itself, there are 7 phases of spiritual evolution. And for the phase that we're in right now, we've already lived about 1 million years. I mean, it's just so wow. Once you reach that 7th phase, is when you can actually go back to creation itself and be totally united with it. Where you become everyone and everything, and it's like eating all the food in the world at the same time. Right now, you're just tasting the American food. But as you start to expand your mind and whatever permission slip you want to use, ayahuasca, psilocybin, regular meditation, chocolate, whatever it is, you start to expand the way of thinking, you expand your consciousness, which allows you to start tasting the American food and the Mexican food. And how about the Iraqi food, American food, and Mexican food? How about the Chinese food, American food? I mean, it keeps going. You're the only thing that's holding yourself back. So, thanks for listening to my talk. Remember that whenever you feel like you've taken 2 steps back, you're never starting from the same baseline. You go up, you come down with what you've learned while you were up. So that way you can integrate it into that lower self as you bounce back up again. But that baseline is never the same. You go up, new baseline, up, new baseline, up, new baseline. Love, light, and peace.